Hey guys, hope you are all well. We are so grateful to announce that today we have an interactive session with Swati Maheshwari, founder of MindHour. She is an entrepreneur with 8 plus year experience in scratch starting startups, attaining operation excellence and creating sustainable business model, thereby empowering numerous MSMEs and transforming learnings for around half a million students across the nation, empowered 500 plus MSMEs in tier 2 and tier 3 towns, bringing them online to ensure overall business growth, rewarded with Educational Excellence Award by the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, awarded as top 5 emerging startup by the National Association of Software and Service Companies, recognized by Government of Chile, Startup Chile, IOWA Startup and Startup Istanbul, completed 4 rounds of successful fundraising. So let's start our session. Swati Maheshwari is here.
Can you see me?
Hello. Yes, sir, I can
Hi.
see you. See you, ma'am. Yes, sir, I can see you. Ma'am, do you listen me?
Yes, I can. Can you listen me?
Yes, sir, sure. So, ma'am, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Ma'am, I am also good. So, how are your quarantine is going on?
It's going good. So, as an entrepreneur, I have just learned to adapt with the flow of life. Yeah.
How much it has affected your work?
Honestly, we've been taking schools to the cloud since last 4-5 years. So for us, yes, we have a lot of workload because we are taking the schools on cloud, helping them, cope up with this situation. The workload is pretty high rather. We are working 18 hours or 15 hours a day, so that's how it is going.
Ma'am, I would like to know the journey of MindHour. Please, ma'am, describe it in a short, please. We would like to know.
So we started back in 2014 with a team of 4 co-founders, and we are all from IIT and engineers and MBAs. And we started with a vision to bring some real meaning to the Indian education system. And that is how we started. We raised a couple of rounds of funding, and we did a lot of activities. We have more than 5 lakh plus registered users. We have pan-India presence now. So when we started, we did everything by our own. 4 co-founders doing everything, right from collecting the COD to making the sales call, everything. And by God's grace, now we have a good size of team, and we are helping schools, and we are actually able to achieve what we started with. So that's how it has.
Oh, all right. So, ma'am, right now, as we have seen, the pandemic is going on, so everyone is thinking of cloud or solution for some study, as a regular school can't work for now. So, ma'am, I want to know, ma'am, what you have seen the difference from previous years. Is, ma'am, the number of users increased during this?
See, if you talk it from the perspective of the school, we are not actually dealing with the number of retail users. We are dealing with schools. And right now the scenario is such that schools have been put off the seat. They were not prepared to, cater to this kind of a situation. And they had to suspend the regular classes. So we are helping them, go online, on the cloud. So yes, definitely the number of schools that we are catering now is much higher than we were doing in the last few years.
Ma'am, I would like to know, as I was reading your profile, I have seen that you have been rewarded with many prizes as the Women Entrepreneur Award, Top Women Entrepreneur. So I would like to know, please, ma'am, please tell us.
See, we have always focused on working with a purpose, with a vision, and the focus has never been on any award. They come as a byproduct of your hard work. That's all. That's it. And we never ever boast of our awards or achievements. If you work hard in the direction to achieve your goal, to achieve the mission and vision that you have, awards and rewards and recognition is a byproduct. It comes automatically. So.
Great. Ma'am, so I would like to come, which is our topic for this discussion. Ma'am, what do you think, how much reachable and effective online education is?
See, if you look at from a utopian world point of view, the most effective model would be a hybrid model, where the schools are following the online as well as offline model. But, currently, if you ask me the effectivity of online education, there are three things, three pillars of it. So first is the tech platform that the school is using. Second is the internet connectivity. And third is the hardware availability or the device availability at the student's end. So the second and the third thing is not in the control of school, right? They cannot make it mandatory for all the students to buy a specific device. Neither can they control the bandwidth of the internet, especially at this time when the usage of internet is way beyond the normal standard. But what the school can do is wisely choose a tech platform which can run on, minimal internet connectivity, which can run across the devices, and which is holistic, which is comprehensive. There should be, if the students and teachers would juggle through multiple apps, they usually get distracted and confused, and the overall effectivity reduces because different things, right? So if everything is in one place, and just like now I go to the school, I am not worried about, as a student, I am not worried about what are the service providers, different vendors that are providing stuff to the school. I am going to the school physically. Same way the student should be going on cloud to their school, and they shouldn't be worried or juggling through multiple apps. And if this happens, then the productivity can be largely increased.
So ma'am, do you think now we need to think more about the solution like online study or for go with the online?
See, online is the only solution left as of today, especially during this lockdown. Right? And all have been, discussing about how the Indian education system has become obsolete and it needs a revolution. I think this is the time when we should, adapt to the new methodology and technology, and a right mix of technology as well as, physical school can do a great thing.
So ma'am, let's make this conversation a little more clear. So ma'am, I would like to know that you have achieved so much thing in such a young age. So I would like to know, if you were not an entrepreneur, then what would you like to be?
Honestly, I never thought to be an entrepreneur, and it was just that, some ideas, they come to me when I see some problems in the, society, and when you just resort to solving those problems, then, you may say, that we've become an entrepreneur, but it is just that you see a problem, and then if you can map it to the perfect solution. I mean, I never thought of becoming anything, honestly, in my life. Just a good human being. That has always been my aim of life. Yeah.
So ma'am, I was reading about you and found that you are more focused toward for women entrepreneurship. So ma'am, I would like to know that what are the challenges being faced by a woman during their recent days of startup, or what they have to face which generally men don't?
See, all entrepreneurs face a lot of challenges. And when you choose to be an entrepreneur, you have to know what you are opting for. So this is the first thing. So it isn't that it is easier for a man or a woman. Why I am being more supportive to women entrepreneurs is because usually, the Indian society is such that in a setup where a woman has to get married, her place, changes, then she has to think of her family, and then the complete thing, So there are a lot of pressure and restrictions that are imposed for many women, not all. So encouraging them, if, many a times we keep waiting that someone would come and motivate us to do something. But in life, nobody comes. You have to motivate yourself, you have to take up this step yourself and move ahead in life. So when I say I support women entrepreneurs, I always expect them to think more and expect more from this life. And challenges are there for men and women equally, honestly.
Ma'am, as recent days we have seen that government is promoting the women entrepreneurship and set up many incubation center across the India. So, ma'am, how do you look these? How do you look these incubation centers?
The incubation center is the second step. The first step is to break your own mental barriers. You first have to decide that you want to, opt for this journey. So most of the time, more than the incubation centers, it is within our own mind that would we be able to do, should we do, what would the family think, what would the society think. I may be good at cooking, but should I be going into a profession in that? So all these questions, these mental barriers are the first step that we need to break. And of course, these incubation centers that can definitely groom you or help you, show the way ahead.
Ma'am, as I have seen about you and also read that, ma'am, you have got also supported from Chile government, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Latin America.
Ma'am, tell me some. Okay, ma'am, tell me something about it. That.
See, these are different, nominations that come up for startups. Honestly, when we started, we were very curious about, participating in these incubations. But if you talk of the real entrepreneurship, when you are a young entrepreneur, you always want to bag as many awards and nominations that you can. These were one of the many that we did. We won many, nominations and, awards like these. But the real entrepreneurship is way different from, all this. So, I don't think, if I have to send this message across, but then you should focus on the real, problems that your startup is meant to, and then are you able to monetize your, model? That is very important because ultimately revenue is what, runs the ad for fuel.
Alright. So, ma'am, I would like to ask what are the future goals of MindHour and what do you think in which level or in what level you are working to take it?
Well, as of now, the situation is, I would say, very positive for all the schools. And I don't see COVID or this thing as a loss. Rather, it is an opportunity in disguise for all the schools to upgrade themselves to the next level. So I think we would put in our best to help as many schools as we can and revolutionize the complete learning, education system of the country. And then, as I said, we would work hard, we would try our best, and then whatever comes our way, we are ready to bear the results. Results we never care for. We only work hard. That's it.
Ma'am, as already you have mentioned that you have started with 4 founders. So I would love to know that what is the importance of that a team in any startup?
Oh, it is very important. Team is very important for any startup. And then more than that, defining your accountabilities and your success metric is even more important. Because sometimes you become friends, when you're co-founders, you usually become friends. But then you are also answerable. You should not forget that. You're also answerable to each other. So team is very important, and especially in a startup which is, many a times it becomes like a pressure cooker, So the team is important, yes. If you have people of different skill sets who are complementing each other, who are accountable, responsible, and can congruently, work with each other, then it is a very big plus point for any startup.
So, ma'am, I would like to ask what should not be the expectation of an entrepreneur in her initial days?
Well, expectations तो लाइफ में शायद कभी भी नहीं होनी चाहिए, but however hard I may say, it is impossible not to have expectations. But I think one should not, especially being an entrepreneur, when you start, you usually fall in love with your idea. So you should not do that. You should keep yourself very detached. Try to see it from a broader perspective, from a panoramic, point of view, and be very flexible to change or adapt to the, environment or the market or the needs of the consumer. So expectation should not be that I have created a product and the market is ready to accept it. It should be the other way. If you've created a product, you should be adapting as and when the consumer, as per the consumer needs basically.
So ma'am, as I have read about you, that you have already got it 4 round of funding, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So ma'am, I would like to know that how hard is to get the funding.
Honestly, in the coming scenario now, if we talk of it, things have changed. And initially, there were companies, who would invest only by looking at a napkin idea. But these days, investors are looking for much sustainable business models, revenue, and something which is long term. Not the valuation bubble is kind of over now. People are more switching towards revenue and profit and that way. So easy or difficult, I wouldn't say. If your business model is correct, if you are able to generate revenue, if you're OPEX positive, investors are there and they can fund you for sure.
Ma'am, what would you like to give the message to upcoming entrepreneurs or startups?
Well, once you have made your mind to enter into this journey, I would again say that you should be aware of what you're going to enter into, because this journey of entrepreneurship is not easy at all. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be times when you will feel you are all alone in the world and there is no one. The complete world is just opposite to you, and you'll have to stand for your own self alone. Sometimes even your family members, parents, they don't support you, and especially at times which are low, they would say, "Humne to pehle hi kaha tha, mat kar." It happens. And then when you get success, all of a sudden the world would know, "Abhi to pata hi tha ye kar sakta hai." So don't worry about what the world says. Follow what you think is right. Keep learning, keep adapting. और एक बार जब entrepreneurship की journey में घुस गए, तो फिर घुस गए. Then there is no such thing called failure, क्योंकि failure कुछ है ही नहीं. You will have to keep on, standing up again and keep on doing till you succeed. That's what I feel. That's totally my view.
Ma'am, as already you have said that parents don't generally do support. So ma'am, I would like to know that has your parents supported you or you have just...
See, our parents have always been supportive. I wouldn't say they were not supportive, but when parents see you working extremely hard and seeing you under a lot of pressure, they usually feel, why don't you go for a job? You were getting such a good package. We were all, recruited by big companies. We left our jobs and we opted for entrepreneurship. So parents, maybe out of concern, they usually come up, self-sufficient, you're well off. Why do you want to go through the harassment of this entrepreneurship? So yes, sometimes they in fact motivate you to give up and choose an easier path. But it's only you who can decide whether you want to go for it or you don't want to. If you feel like that this is the end and you don't want to continue it, take a decision and move ahead. So that's what I believe. So nobody can actually influence you, but as parents, they will always keep on, helping you take easier paths and routes of life, being overprotected. Yes.
So ma'am, as you are already into the corporate world, so which I have seen recently, the question which is most flashing, that is, will this pandemic is going to affect the job of corporate people who are working in corporate world?
See, it depends from industry to industry, and it isn't that jobs will all of a sudden vanish. The needs of the consumers will change. There will be a major shift. So it is very important that we keep on acquiring new skills, especially during this time of lockdown when we are sitting at home idle and sometimes we don't feel like waking up early. It is in fact a time when we should work even more harder to acquire new skills, understand what the market needs are going to be in future, and adapting your skills accordingly. So if you're hardworking, if you have the right skills and if you have the right attitude, seeking a job shall not be a problem. And yes, sustainability of a job is becoming a major concern these days because a lot of companies are they are sacking off the people. But again, as I say, jobs will not be reduced, only the needs will be shifting. The new skill set is required which we need to adapt ourselves to.
Ma'am, I would like to ask, what do you think, what can be the great learning for all of us from this pandemic?
Well, I think the biggest learning is uncertainty is uncertain, and we should keep our fundamentals right. And if we work on basics, so especially if I talk from the personal perspective, so you have to work on your immunity because this time it is COVID-19. There can be something else in future. So we should be working on our health and fitness and keep on increasing and working on our immunity. And even our business models, the fundamentals should be very strong and sustainable so that, we can sustain in such time.
Ma'am, as I have to say that I have read, so you have completed your BTech in Computer Science and Engineering in 2010, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Then you have completed your MBA.
Yeah.
So ma'am, I would like to know that what is that time in which you are, if you could, then you will wish to go back.
Okay. So honestly, I am one of those who want to live in the present. I have cherished my childhood. I have loved my school days. I have cherished my college days. No doubt, those are one of the best days of life. But even today, I am happy, and I would not want to go back. Every age has a flavor of its own. So I have already lived as a teenager. I have already, spent time as a college person. And I am enjoying the journey of entrepreneurship a lot, and I think I would not want to go back to any time. I am enjoying my present.
So ma'am, I have seen that many students start their venture or say startup in their college days. So how do you look at it?
Oh, it's good. I mean, anyone can be an entrepreneur if you have a good idea and if you know how to, monetize it. You should definitely try your hands on it. Why just in college? Why not in school? If you can get the help or mentoring of some people who can guide you the way ahead, you should definitely try your hands in entrepreneurship. There's no harm. The earlier you start, the better it would be, I would say.
Ma'am, some people do usually do that. There is some say that as Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook and left their college. It is. Ma'am, how do you think it is good to drop out or work parallelly?
See, working parallelly is no harm at all. I mean, if someone can balance both the things, can study and start out, or work parallelly, that is the best and the ideal thing one should do. If at all one is able to manage his or her time. See, commenting on college dropouts, everyone has his or her own story. So it is a very, very personal thing. We never know why a person has dropped out from a college, right? So it would be unfair on my part to comment on whether it is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. The only thing is if you've taken a decision, then there's no point looking back and regretting it. Stand by your decision, prove it right.
So ma'am, how do you look that BTech or upcoming engineers or those who are doing MBA? So they must learn. These are the means you would like to give that skill. They must learn in their college days.
Sales is something we should all learn, and I think why in college? Why not in school? Why not as a kid? So we are always telling ourselves, even when we are a kid and if we want something, we would always try to convince our parents. We do that. If we want a favorite toy of our own, we would want to convince our parents. So that's sales. And as of today, many a times we feel that sales is a job we never want to be in. But even in an interview, all the time you're selling yourself. So, the power of convincing, the power of communication, the power of selling is something that can make you rule the world. Rest everything, I think, can be acquired. If you have the power of, communication and sales and convincing, बाकी सब हो जाता है.
So ma'am, as you are already a computer science engineer, so I would like to know how much coding skill affect the life.
Honestly, I have always hated coding. I have never been fond of coding, and but then the fact is that I know what is engineering all about, what is coding all about. Because even now when I'm working, our product is a very tech-heavy product. We have a lot of modules. So we understand the basic database structure. So it's easier for us to explain our requirements to my tech person, who's from IIT and who's all the time coding. So if any knowledge doesn't go to waste, basically. So I personally do not code, but I do have a basic idea of certain things, which is used sometimes, or I would not say much in my, honesty field. Yeah. I am more of a marketing and, person who talks and takes the consumer requirements and then, help the technical team to create products which will help our consumers. So.
Ma'am, so I would again coming to next question. As ma'am, this pandemic is going on, so we have seen that there is a lot of disturbance everywhere. So how do you look at after when everything will start opening? So how will it affect the corporate world?
Like I said, see, the demands and the needs are going to change a lot. The purchasing pattern of people is going to change a lot. The shift in the complete focus would be it would be a major shift. So like I talk of even if the schools, so previously it was very difficult for us to convince someone that you should be online and you should be on cloud 24/7 available for your school students. And at the time, sometimes people thought that maybe we were thinking too futuristic, but so only the scenario would be that a lot of demands would shift. Like in our case, now the schools will have to go online, and practically now people would become used to technology. And be it teachers, be it schools, be it we people who have never been, giving such webinars or, we've always been to colleges and physically, giving speeches or whatsoever. So everybody is becoming much more comfortable with technology, and it would be, I think, a good state. Why to travel more if you can be at home, save your commutation time, why to pollute the environment, why to contest the roads through, your cars and everything. So needs are going to change. It's going to be a different world post-corona for sure. Our thinking, our patterns are going to change a lot.
So ma'am, one last question from my side. That is, what do you think, how much time will India again took to stand up?
See, as of today, no one knows the exit strategy. And we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last, right? Till the time we have the vaccine. So this attitude is not going to really understand that we have to keep on moving, because the required precautions have to be taken. You cannot be immune, so let's see. You cannot be doing that. So, as a responsible citizen, we all will have to contribute and abide by the instructions, and only then we can think of even standing up. Otherwise, the thing is just,
Ma'am, from here I have completed my all questions.